All right. Whew. Here I am. I didn't dress up, guys. This is me at home. And I'm just jumping on here to keep this thing going because I didn't really think this through today. I've just been really diving into some projects and need to get somebody over here to talk to me on some of these projects that I'm doing. Let's see. I believe I am live, so we'll see how this goes. So this is really weird when I'm talking to myself. I'm not used to this at all. Ooh, it's just, yeah. And then I look down and I see myself, ugh, you know. um, wow. So my mind, where has it been recently? It's been on all kinds of issues and things. I had Mark O'Toole over here last Thursday, and we were trying to get the record straight on where I'm at. I'm not even certain myself. I'm just here. I'm living in the moment, and on the tip of the arrow of time in the moment. Not behind or forward. Um, and I'm taking time to get into a lot of projects into the art world, which is that's how my mind works. People think that it's some sort of occupation for an artist or something. No, it's a defect. It's a it's a mental issue, at least for me and the few that I know that suffer with obsessive. I don't know. I keep hearing that from my psychiatrist. you know, obsessive and I hear manic and hyper a lot. Um, there are those words. I don't like labels and that, so therefore I don't have an excuse. But guys, I am not normal. Come to face that many years ago, and my mind wanders in different places. People would just be so bizarre. It would be so bizarre for anyone to even get into the craziness of my mind. So in this recent, um, I guess you would call reparation of that I'm going through, I call it rebirth, really. Um, some ways I'm sort of Lazarus, for I feel like I was brought back from the dead with my recent near death experience. And and it shocked me anyway. So as a part of repairing myself and doing so, I don't know, I dig into subjects, colors. That's a weird thing with me recently. Not weird to me, but others would find it weird. Appreciating colors, I don't know. Blue. I like the color blue for it puts life into everything. As far as paintings, and you wouldn't have purples and greens without blue. You'd have reds and yellows and everything in between, and that's sort of a fall autumn looking world. Without blue, we have really no life. And if anybody out there knows the reason why lazuli and lapis lazuli and the name Lazarus, I don't know. I haven't really I should done a lot of research on that, but um anywho, I don't know. Let's see. Kathy said, I'm looking through. Who needs a guest? Just keep on talking. She said, um, Gail. Oh my God, is that Gail Penny? You lost weight again. You need. Where have you been, girlfriend? I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I have lost weight because I just been hanging out around house, so I'm not cooking a lot. You know, it's good to hear from me, Gail. Come out and see me, baby. I haven't seen you in a long time. Love to give you a hug. And I see Brian is on, Brian Wolf. Tell us about your shirt. My shirt is just a pattern. To me, it looks like sort of like the sun. I don't know. I wore it because I don't want to endorse anything today. Um, let's see. Yeah, I mean, and hello, Kathy. Let's see. We got. I'm not used to any of this stuff, and the weird stuff that I get into. Like I've been into this for years. I've been wanting to create this game, this ancient game called Senet by the ancient Egyptians, and it's sort of at a quick, comparison maybe to something like chess. It's a board game and has pawns and stuff. So you can buy versions of it online. And they have some really nice furniture like pieces. I like that whenever game makers make furniture, with the game. And I don't know, when I was getting my thoughts together on this game, I just thought go after, just make the board and just get some pawns of any sort just to play the game. And I did just that, but then I kept I don't know, it kept kind of building itself, like through my years of studying the game. It's like, okay, why not just build a board with a piece of wood? So I made a second um, board to make it with, and I completed that board. It's really it's complete as to what it is, but I'm like, now I want to make a really sturdy board that an artisan would get a hold of, if he got a hold of it, or someone got a hold of, like a good piece of hardwood or something. Trying to come up with the material and mediums for this, but currently what I have on it is kind of a arts and craft makeshift sort of thing. And I've tried to cut corners on this just so I can get the idea down quick enough and see what maybe would be the prototype of this thing. And I don't really know what it is. In the end, this thing wound up being something more than just a game, but the game itself is really fun. The ancient Egyptians would play this game. It's a two-player game. It's a race with your pawns across the board, and they would also play this game either with a living person or one that has passed. So it's and in the Book of the Dead of the ancient Egyptians, it is one of the rituals one would have to encounter in the stages you have to go through in the netherworld or do what. Anyway, a lot of crazy stuff, Michael. Why are you talking about that? Let's see. That scares me. And then I show some people this game, and I love people's reactions to it because they don't know what to think. They don't know what it is. And they and they're like, "Really? This is just a game? Really, Michael? Something's wrong with him. He's possessed by the devil." Let's see. And yeah, so let's see. I spent 10 minutes trying to get the chat box open. Great. I detest tech. Sorry, Michael. Hope you're feeling good. All right, David. Thanks. Appreciate that. Um, yeah, so if you want to see the game, it's right here. I have it with me. Let's see if I can get it in the background. This is odd. I am, it's not mirror imaging, so I have to show you like this. There you go. So, yeah, that's the game. And so I wanted to do it in honor of the ancient Egyptians. And I did. I did a lot of research through the years. I've even got it down to the Egyptian cubits and more so the the qubits they would use. I was multiplying by 7 on this one. Um, that was an interesting number with the ancient Egyptians. 7. Turns out that winds up being a number in the Bible for God. Fun fact. Um, just how these things relate sometimes. I do a lot of research, by the way, guys. Please don't underestimate me on this. I don't know everything. I am very stupid when it comes to things. I'd love to talk to some scholars who are willing to put down their ego enough to talk to an ignorant person. Um, and I say that because, some people get a little ahead of themselves when they talk to me on subjects because they know I don't have that experience in it like one would have on foot or through college doors. But I do a lot of research and I try to go to the actual sources. I don't like middlemen. I don't like somebody telling me, how to read something else, and their interpretation. If I'm having a hard time with understanding something, then I'll turn to somebody that may help direct making it make sense to me. So that's how I do it. And in that, what I'm saying is, I study a lot about the ancient Middle East area around Israel, around Jerusalem, Egypt, all the surrounding the Mesopotamian area to the Mediterranean, all of that area that's biblical because I'm fascinated with the Bible stories, and and down that road I went looking for Moses like a lot of people do, and it just led me down this very, very fun road in my life. um, I mean, this has been since I was a kid, just fascinated and very intimidated by the information of the 26 plus 100 years of dynasty. That's amazing if you really think about it. And they had a lot of intermediate periods in those thousands of years, but one of the most fascinating points of Egypt was the 18th dynasty, and where the that's where the story gets interesting about the Exodus in the Bible is when we look at the 18th dynasty in archaeology. It says a lot. There's a lot of similarities going on, and that is interesting to me. Let me see. Hmm. Let's see. Penny Thomas said, "Awesome. Just named our new French bulldog an Egyptian name that means girl. Okay, who is wanted, girl who is wanted." And she goes, "This is Oni." I'm going to take it. That's how the phonetic sound. By the way, I do study also ancient Egyptian, uh, the language itself, which is called Kemet. It's interesting how they do their language, how they speak it and write it. And it's very layered when you get into it, how deep the ancient Egyptians were with their writing. Awesome. That is awesome that you named Oni. Oni. I didn't know that was the name of girl. I know one, but you said girl who is wanted. That's an Oni. So that's a wanted girl. That's interesting. Oni. I know that the game Senet, which is what I just told you, that's another word for girl or woman in ancient Egyptian. Senet. They would put a T on the end of words to make it feminine, much like we do today, which is probably where we got it from. Got a lot of stuff from them. Let's see. I think people want to know what you're talking about. Eric Ward says, "You used to always ask me about obscure musicians and would say, you don't know who that is, do you?" I, Eric knows. I know. And by the way, how you doing, brother? Um, yeah. Um, I just have a lot of random information, factual or not. I don't know. I read it if it makes sense to me, if it sounds probable. the things that I know about that I can say I know about by experience, is music. That particular thing, I let's see, um, about obscure music, yeah. Let's see. Jeannie, I am playing the blues tomorrow evening. I think I'm at the M Casino just on the southern side of the Las Vegas Strip, and I think that'll be 8 till midnight. That's at the and then I'll be I think at Frankie's Uptown, which is in Summerlin this coming Saturday, the very next night. And I think that's around the same. No, that's earlier, around 7 to 10, somewhere in there, 7 to 11, we'll go with. And yeah, I mean, for me right now, I'm really trying to take a little bit of a break from everything. Um, Let me see. I hope I didn't just lose you guys. Mm, hmm. How do I minimize things? I don't even know how to work computers. Um, Let me see here, guys. Let me see. I lost my browser, so I don't see anything right now. Hey, Lucy, love. I can't. I must have lost my browser here. I'm not even sure if I'm connected. I'm probably on, and everyone's laughing at me.
What did you do?
I pushed something. How do you get to see where all your browsers are?
There you are.
Was it on all the time?
Yep.
All the while? Okay. Boy, oh boy. I don't know technology, guys. I really don't mess with. Lucy bought me this computer a year ago or so, and I haven't used it but a few times, only to do this on. Anywho, okay, so what was I doing here? Trying to mess around with everything. Um, yeah, so there's those gigs, and right now, as far as what I'm doing musically, I'm just, maybe I'm writing songs, maybe not. Um, but I am looking forward to creating and getting back into a project, which is what I have to do. It makes me happy, and that will be coming soon. Trying to figure out what to do with this whole, uh, because an artist used to be able to put together an album and it was material. Then you had something material to hold and smell, had more senses involved in the art, the piece of art that the artist was presenting, so that the artist could express themselves more and the person has more of an experience, personal experience with the piece of art, which is the album. But today, now I'm getting rid of all these CDs. I can't even give my CDs away right now because I'm trying to promote them. Guys, they really do work as great coasters. I'm not kidding. If you need coasters or hanging them in trees for to keep the birds out, they flash. But we're in a new time, and and I'm trying to figure out how do you make a project now, an album, and put that into something tangible, something material, something that is a true experience. And so I'm working that through in my mind along with a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of things that I want to say, but in these times that we're in, I'm also a little shy as to not offend anybody either. It's a very delicate time we're in. So, as an artist, I really don't know where I stand for the moment. So I'm waiting to see, I guess. I don't know. In that meantime, I'm doing my own thing here, and it makes me happy. John Thurston is telling me that I'm still on. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, buddy. Let's see. Um, hmm. Mark O'Toole called. I wonder, that was 40 minutes ago, though. Let's see. These things, this stuff, this is all really weird if you think about it, man. It's not, this is not what, it's weird. It's not supposed to be. I'm looking at this going on. I'm got this going on while I'm talking this. And then I'm talking about the times that we're in, that I'm experiencing. And right now, for me, coming out of my recent experience, it really feels like I woke up. Um, I've been asleep maybe for at least 5 years, and then coming to light of everything around me, having to really look at it, going, "Okay, please, Mike, don't be too afraid to speak, and don't be too afraid to express. As long as I'm not coming from any bad place, and trying to harm anybody." But that's the thing, you never know when you're when you're harming someone, and I don't wanna hurt anybody or hurt anybody's feelings or those sorts of things. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah. So, and I built a lid for this, what I call an arc. It's an arc, and that's what you saw there. Yes, that's an arc. And the ancient Egyptians built arcs. This particular arc, the ancient Egyptians would call it a wia, is what it would be called. Um, if there was an old man that was carrying this, they would say, um, Iau Uia. Iau Uia means the old wise man with the sacred art. That's just, and I know that because that's a fact, guys. Any scholar can please show me that I'm wrong on that one. Um, and for anyone that can hear the undertones of what that might sound like when phonetically, I'm leaving that up to you. Okay. It's just those sort of things that intrigue me sometimes. And for all, intents and purposes, I'm going after a good time. In the end, for me, it's entertaining me, and it's not like these things are factual or anything. I like to find the weird coincidences, the odd coincidences sometimes, and make a point it out to people, because if anything, you can learn from that by going, okay, don't take everything by the way it sounds or the way it looks. Maybe that's just a coincidence. But Iauea uh, is, and that is what that means. Iau means old, decrepit man specifically, wise man, even under some interpretations. And that's Iau. Okay, phonetically, you would go I, open sound like an A, W, or a U, Iau. That is, that's how you would go. And if you say it fast, it would be Yau, Yau. Okay, so Yau, and then Wia. Everybody knows what the sacred ark is called in Egyptian. I mean, every scholar out there knows it's called a Wia. So Wia. So you add the old man. I just put that weird coincidence together when I was looking through some sounds in ancient Egyptian, because I have an app for that. Yes, there is, guys. You can actually download an app, and I can show you the one if you're interested. And then you guys can then throw it at me if somebody is educated in this at all. Now, the app that I'm using here, what is it called? Let me get to the name of it. Should be on the cover. A-A-O, or AAOU is the name of the app. AAOU, and what it does is it gives you like I wish I could show it to you quick, but yeah, it's hard to see. It gives you like you can type in English versions of it, and it goes much deeper than this, guys. I mean, when you're doing this, but this is just a quick way for me to get sounds, whatnot. Like I can put in the actual hieroglyph if I want, the phonetic sound, or I can go approach it in English. This gives me some ideas and as to the sounds, because once you study the sounds that they make individually, like the phonetic sounds that these phonograms are representing, then you get a better idea as to maybe what's going on there. I don't know. Somebody, please, out there, if you have any ideas on this, I love to discuss it. It's just fun. And for some people out there that might take offense to such subject, I want you to know I respect this subject. That's why I'm not hitting the actual sound of the name of what that might be representing, out of respect for the Hebrew communities out there. Anyone out there, I have nothing but respect. I go after theology. I love theology. I grew up in Judeo-Christian beliefs hardcore in the South. So the Bible, I know a lot about the Bible. Not everything, but I know a lot. And just trying to figure out some of these figures and stories in the Bible, and really trying to just find the real true meaning to these things. Am I searching for the meaning of life itself in all of this? I don't think so. Maybe subconsciously. Um, I don't think that anything's going to give me that conclusive answer for me personally. So I will stay agnostically, or just, I don't know, but I lend myself to believing because it gives me hope. And I think that if you don't have hope, and something, well, if there's nothing there after life, that is, then we wouldn't know, right? I just hope it's not as confusing as this life. That's for sure. If it's there, and hope I've done the right things, at least not hurt enough of people. I have hurt people without a doubt, but that's a different story. We'll get on for another day. Um, Ooh, yes. Penny says, I'm loving this obscure knowledge. I'm nerding out with you. Well, thank you, Penny. Yeah, because it's a bunch of random stuff to people. I mean, I have all kinds of stuff. Like I was saying, I get into colors even. I've been into colors recently like crazy. And like I was talking about the color blue. I don't know if any of you might find this fascinating. I'm throwing it out there for you for future topics. Um, let's talk about colors and the color blue. I have a friend of mine, um, Jimmy Trippy is his name, and his wife Rhonda is um, she's I think she's Lakota, but she's Sioux. She's Native American Sioux, and she's really really deep into her culture. I mean, they call her from around the world one of these types of people. She knows her culture, and she's an artist, and she makes traditional. I mean, this is serious stuff. I mean, traditional pieces, beadwork that is, and she makes dolls and represent the clothes of that, and she knows everything about it. So I'm trying to get from her and others out there. Like the topic for me right now is blue. Because blue is very hard to come by for ancient people. It wasn't up till the late, I'd say the best of the early 1700s, early 18th century, that we came up with blue being affordable. However, that version of blue became um, became something we know as Prussian blue. Okay, there you go. It's called ferrocyanide. I probably want to wash my hands, but it hasn't been open. See how hard it is to get the color blue, and I like to talk about that because I want to know what cultures from around the world, and I can go online as I do to learn about things like lapis lazuli, and I love it. That's what they were trying to do for a long time, get the azure color, the blue from things like azurite. Very deadly though. You're working with copper sulfate, you know. Yeah, that sort of stuff with water and things like that, and then you breathe it. You know, it could cause death easily. Um, that's how hard it was to come across blue and to introduce blue into paintings and into color into our world. And the ancients, for people who may think that the ancients couldn't see blue, that's a misconception, of course. And obviously it is. Everybody can see blue. They just didn't have a concept of the color. There was nobody that knew that blue was what we call a dimensional color in color theory, or a primary color. Um, that one of three that make up all colors that our naked eyes can see. And they thought it was green. Green's all around, and that's just a form of green. Or some would believe it was just a tone of black, you know, until somebody went, that's a color, and we're going to call it azu, or azu, lazu, lazuli, Lazarus. And I say Lazarus, and what's interesting about that connection, just off the surface, because I haven't done real research on it, I think in the past I came across something on that about some connection between Lazarus, the name for Lazarus. And by the way, Lazarus was the man who Jesus raised from the dead in the Bible. But the color itself, the ancient Egyptians were using um, Laz- lapis lazuli, but I know they weren't calling it lapis lazuli. For one, they didn't have an L in their language. We know that that's a Latin or Greek, and even Hebrew, uh, Canaanite. The Canaanites had L's in their language. The Egyptians did not, but they would say something more like Azu, maybe, or something Asu, for that color. I'm assuming. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm still doing research on it. It's difficult when you get online and you start doing research on something like this. It's like, why you even do that to yourself, Michael, to go down these woozle trails, because people write stuff they don't know what they're really writing about. I will tell you, I don't know about a lot of this stuff, so I'm studying it, and it just fascinates me. And in the process of it, I have to learn the etymologies with it. So there's all these different areas and categories to go down just on one subject. That's what makes it fascinating. I will break down just the color blue. I will break down the word the. Look up the history of that word. You want to go down a rabbit hole, and it's fun. the, Latin version, L. That's where the word the comes from. And go and look up where the origins of L come from. And you'll be quite fascinated. And it'll confuse you at first if you're not ready for it, because it is very deep. Oh, please explain, Michael, please. I wish I could go down that rabbit hole with you, because that one is interesting. You would find it so bizarre. And then we use those words every day, never knowing that the word where it come from. I love things like that. And for me as a writer and an artist, to learn the origins of words and learn the true definitions to words is important. if I'm going to use words in my poetry and songwriting correctly. Um, God knows I do not know, um, English as well. Grammar in general is just, it blows my mind just from around the world. The structure of linguistics, how things are, boy, Lucy, my wife, who is multilingual, she knows English better than I know English. She knows, of course, Czech, her Slavic tongue, very well. And then also she's going on teaching it. We were looking around going, what do we have to, what do you want to do? We're bored. What do you want to do? Go online and talk about some things that interest us. And for her, it's right now the linguistics. So she's going on right now, seeing if people want to learn Czech the way she knows it, and for English, for Czech people, maybe they want to learn English the way she knows it, and it's fun. But linguistics, though, it's a very new feel. It always is with me. I mean, I'm from the South of Mississippi. Not putting Mississippi down. That's some smart people in the South. By the way, that's NASA people. Okay. That's NASA. Don't get it wrong. Don't put my peeps down. Only I can do that because I'm one of them. Um, but I'm not putting them down unless they're down south. Um, no, I just don't. I'm not me myself. I am not grammatically or grammarly correct. I'm not grammarly correct. I said that one time to my wife, and she looked at me like, Michael, just stop talking. Anyway, um, let's see. Uh, Amy Murray says, "Hi, Michael. Can you tell us about your dogs?" Amy, how you doing, baby? What are their stories? Do they do tricks? Well, if this is the Amy Murray I'm thinking of, let's see here, Amy. I think we need to get together so you can see him. Let's see. Oh, she's in Canarelli, Mississippi. Is that where Ann Murray? Amy Murray. Amy Murray. I almost went Ann Murray. I met Ann Murray, by the way, years ago, Amy. So this is Amy Murray, and she's saying, can you tell us about your dogs? Okay. What's their stories? Well, I am a big time dog culture person. I had no choice in it. Came into this world with dogs, got 150 stitches on my face from a Doberman pinscher. That was 150 stitches exactly. People all down this side, and then one near my jugular where he was trying to get me, and I was about 7 years old. But I remember it very well, you know, and I'll talk about that some other time. But grew up around dogs. My cousin, who I lived with as a teenager, had canines for the police department, and we would help. I would help train the dogs. I say I helped train. He let me live at his house by making me be the rag doll for these dolls. Basically, I say that we had to train them. Um, for the sleeve, and I'd wear the suit sometimes, and we worked with Belgian Malinois, and they're gorgeous, awesome, smart dogs. German Shepherds, of course, and Doberman Pinschers, were are three of your real main police dogs. And yeah, and out of that, I my grandmother always thought that the reason why I wound up with small toy dogs was because I was afraid of the big dogs as a result from the Doberman Pinscher. But I'm actually they're compact. I, they're you could fit, so in that way I have four of them, and I could say that because I believe now it's legal. Actually, I'm not sure, so maybe not, maybe I have three. Okay. No, I have 4, and they're awesome, and that's Samantha. Well, let's start with the eldest, Steve, who is 17 years old and still going, little firecracker. Um, we got Steve. We have Timothy is the next one. Then we have Samantha is the third one, and then we have my little Georgie Porgy, little George. He's our last one, and all 4 of them just pack, and they just that's our family. That's our family. So you want to know about our dogs? They keep us happy as we keep them happy. They do not know how spoiled and good they have it, and nor would I ever want them to know how good they have it, because you would have to know what that means, and I definitely will never ever let them know what bad means and what it. Keep them protected, and I feed them healthy diets. They get to eat very good, but they don't eat. Lucy is always we spoil them by buying the chicken breast or whatever, and then we'll cook it and dry it, and that's their treats. If and that's when they get a treat periodically during the day. No fatty treats. The food that we give them, very low on fats, and the fats it has would be healthy fats, um, animal fats, fish oils, whatnot. They're healthy dogs, healthy, healthy and happy, and that's that. So a lot of jibble jarble here, but thanks for joining me, guys, for all of this. I don't know what else to say other than next Thursday, I will have somebody here with me and I will make it interesting. And from time to time, you never know who it's going to be, because I do know a lot of interesting people, you know, lots of interesting people. Once again, last week, Mark O'Toole, who I wanted to talk to, I need to bring him back again. I mean, he needs to be a part of this actually, with me, but he wanted to moderate and just sort of not moderate. He needs someone else there for that. He wanted to sort of be the one asking the questions in that moment, whatever you call it, the host of that, to be able to get some questions that you guys out there may be curious about with me. And I'm here and I'm back and I'm healthy and looking forward, living in the moment. That's all. So, yeah, I'm going to get back to my colors here. I just got this awesome black in also that really is just, and it's black. It's the color black. It's a paint. It's not necessarily an ink. I don't know what the medium is, the syllable that's used in it, but it dries really quick. But this black, it just absorbs all light. It looks like you could stick your hand. There's no reflections, nothing. It looks like velvet when it's put on something. It is black. It's so absorbent. And so any color that you put around it just makes it naturally pop out from it. So I'm going to be playing with that color later, just with some experimental pieces. Anyway, and when it comes to lapis lazuli and Prussian blue, guys, don't worry. I really don't plan on messing, especially with the Prussian blue. Lapis lazuli, I might do that. That is a little safer if I take the right precautions and safety precautions. Um, let's see. And I think I kind of got. So Kathy says, looking forward to next week. Um, but if it's just you, that's fine. You're so fun to listen to. I appreciate it, Kathy. Thank you. I don't like listening to myself, but some people will argue with that. Let's see. Hmm. Guys, I'm going to come to an end here. I don't want to keep you bored. want some cool topics. I want a human being with me more than this. I know you are here and I see these things you're writing. I just have to get used to it. Um, I love you guys. Thank you for joining for what it's worth. And want you to have a good day. Let's see, is there, uh, if I could play a song for you through this, what I'm going to do is next Thursday, I'm going to set it up where, you know, that's what I do. So I'll play you some songs and I'll take some requests. You know, right now I'm trying to be inspired. I need inspiration um, because I'm ready to create. And I have a lot of things to talk about to be able to create from, to express myself through. Um, it's channeling that. And that's the problem. It's taking all this around me and then just going and trying to, like a laser beam, it's like light spreads out and it goes out, and that's the way it is. And then you just, and then it's intense. It's a plague. I can't sometimes I can't get sleep because of it. And for many years I numbed myself, you know, but I can't be doing that. I gotta deal with my brain the way it is. I have just always been this way. Um, very nervous around people in situations even like this. People misunderstand me and they quick to assume things a lot, and I don't mind that. I would rather somebody do that because for them, if I can fit some sort of profile that they would assume that I'm not trying to make them think I'm anything else, but if that helps them, I want them to feel more comfortable with me. Because when you really get to know me, I'm really uncomfortable. I can be uncomfortable. I don't mean to be. For some people, I am, and I'm sorry. Please excuse me for that. Um, and then you say, "Stay with me." I'm assuming the song. Somebody said, "Stay with me." Any song that makes you happy, Kathy says, "Stay with me." Um, yeah. Hmm. I would play you a song today, but I can't. I didn't set up for that, but I will next time, next Thursday, and I'll take some requests. I'll do the best I can for you. All right, guys. In the meantime, I say think about the color blue. If you get bored, think about the word "the." Look up the word "the." I know it sounds crazy. This stuff that I do all the time, randomly. And it's really not that random. What happens is I go down a trail on something, and there are other things with it I didn't know about. And then I start going down those trails with it. And then I'm all of a sudden way out in left field where nobody knows how to get to. I'm lost, but I'm not lost actually. I know where I am. I'm just, if you're trying to find me, you got to come and find me there. You might get lost along the way. All right, guys, love you, and I want you to know that good thoughts and good energy to everybody in the world. I know that may sound weird to some people. I want there to be good energy in this very divided and weird times that we're going through. And I want you, and I'm say that because I want you to be reminded that to and to keep reminding me, more importantly, God, please remind me, of the good things, of the good things. I don't know if this is true, by the way, adding to some good things. Um, I just saw in the headlines Not sure if it's true. I see this in the headlines I've seen this in the headlines my whole life. Amelia Earhart's plane has possibly been discovered, and from what I've seen on the lidars, or what, I don't think it's called a lidar. It's from these sonar pictures that they've taken of it. Looks looks like maybe it is the plane. They just need to get the numbers. And I take it it's of late. It's been like within the last week or a few days that this announcement came out. And that's exciting. I thought, man, in the midst of all this bad news just constantly thrown in front of your face, hate, 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 I'm looking for something good. And that's good. That'd be good. That'd be nice to at least finally put that one to bed. I'm waiting for them to find like Alexander the Great's body. I'm looking for them to find, which I don't really think they're going to find it. And I have my reasons as to why we could talk about. But great, people from our past, like what happened with them, or the big mystery. There's a man named Chen Shi Huangdi, um, who is the first emperor of China. This man was around before Christ, somewhere around 2,300 years ago, right? Something like that. His tomb is the one with all the terracotta soldiers, right? I'm sure you've heard of those guys. Tens of thousands of those soldiers surround his tomb in the middle of a farm field in some province of China, supposedly untouched inside. That's really cool. I like stuff like that. That's really interesting. Where is Cleopatra? Hmm. Still haven't found her or her tomb. These are fun things. Maybe they found Amelia Earhart. That would be awesome. If you have a lot of good news, bring it to the forefront. Bring it to my attention. It's what we need more of. All right. And I love you all. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you next Thursday around this time. And we can talk, have coffee. No big whoop. All right. I love you all. Peace.